I still had all the old pictures from when my mom sent me away. Years ago, she had told everyone that I left home without saying thank you. She wanted people to think I was ungrateful. But I kept the pictures safe, tucked away in a special box in my closet. Now they could help me show the truth. I picked up the phone and called Thessaly. Thessaly was a friend who knew a lot about fixing problems on the internet. She had helped me once before with something at work, so I knew I could trust her. "Hey, Thessaly," I said, trying to sound calm. "I still have those old pictures. Can we use them to show the truth?" "Yes," Thessaly replied. Her voice was steady. "We can show everyone what really happened. Your mom is trying to make you look bad, but we can fix that." I felt nervous, but also strong. For the first time in my life, I felt like I could fight back, not by yelling, not by being mean, but just by telling the truth. I felt like a little light was turning on inside me. We started working together slowly. Thessaly helped me post the pictures safely on a private account first. I wrote little notes under each picture, explaining what was really happening in each one. Nothing mean, nothing that could hurt anyone. Just the truth. My friends saw it and started sharing it carefully, so other people could see it too. But before I continue, hit the subscribe button and tell me where are you watching this from, and what time of day is it? Meanwhile, my mom's sad posts were still spreading on Facebook. People were leaving comments, saying how sad she was and asking why I wasn't talking to her. It was confusing. Some people even thought I was the bad one. I could feel my chest getting tight, the same way it used to when I was a kid, and everyone ignored me. Oral stayed close to me. He didn't say much, just held my hand and rubbed my thumb gently over mine. "They can't control you anymore," he whispered. And he was right. They couldn't control me anymore. By that evening, more and more people could see the real story. They saw pictures of me as a kid being sent away, pictures of my life when I was left out, and little notes explaining how it felt. People started to understand. My mom's sad posts didn't make me look bad anymore. They made her look unfair. I felt a mix of relief and sadness. Sad for all the years I had spent feeling invisible, but also proud of myself. For the first time, I wasn't shrinking. I wasn't hiding. I was standing tall, even in my wedding dress, surrounded by people who truly loved me. The next morning, I woke up, and the sun was shining on my wedding dress by the window. My phone was buzzing again with notifications. Usually that would scare me, make me nervous. But this time it didn't. I ignored the angry messages. I didn't need to answer. I had already told my story. I had already set the truth free. I took a deep breath and looked at Oral. He smiled, holding 2 mugs of coffee. "Ready?" he asked. I smiled back, feeling my heart fill with warmth. "Yes. Let's go get married." The wedding was small, just 28 people, in a beautiful garden in Portland. Fairy lights hung all around, twinkling like stars, and the air smelled like rain and roses. My best friend Viralai helped me with my veil and whispered, "You look like peace." For the first time, I believed her. I felt peace in my heart. I felt light, like I could float. But then, halfway through dinner, Viralai's phone buzzed. She frowned and whispered, "Elaine, your mom just posted something online." I took the phone from her and looked. My mom had posted a picture of me as a child on Facebook. The caption said, "Some daughters forget who raised them. Sad day for our family, but love always wins." Within minutes, relatives, friends, and even people from our church were commenting. They were feeling sorry for my mom, and some were shaming me. The same people who hadn't spoken to me in years were now acting heartbroken. I felt a cold, familiar fear creeping up my spine. Oral saw my face and whispered, "Don't let them steal your moment." I nodded slowly. Deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Her post, and the chaos it caused made me decide to do one very important thing, to end everything for good. The morning after our wedding should have been calm, like the quiet after fireworks. But my phone was full of notifications. Hundreds of messages, comments, screenshots from friends saying, "Your mom's post is everywhere." I sat at the breakfast table in my silk robe, staring at my phone like it was poison. Oral leaned on the counter and said, "She's trying to make you look like the villain." I nodded slowly. She's always been good at twisting stories. But I'm not going to let her. Then came a message from my Aunt Zinnia. "Elaine, people are saying you're unstable. Maybe apologize and move on. Family's all you've got." Unstable. That word hurt more than I expected. It was the same word my mom had used when I left home at 19. Back then, it wasn't because she was sad I was leaving. It was because she was losing control. I locked my phone and walked out to the balcony. The air was cold on my bare feet. Oral came behind me and wrapped his arms around my waist. You don't have to fix what you didn't break, he whispered. I closed my eyes and said quietly, I'm not fixing it. I'm finishing it. By noon, I had made a decision. I called Thessaly, the PR and social media expert. She had helped me with work before, and I trusted her. Hey, Thessaly, I said. Can you help me fix a mess online? Of course, she replied. Whose mess is it? Mine, I said. But not how you think. I explained everything. Mom had shared my private photos and emails with a local blogger who loved family drama. They were planning to write an article about me. My throat went dry. She was trying to ruin my name. Thessaly's voice was calm. Not if we get ahead of it. You still have the photos from when she sent you away. Yes, I said. Perfect. We can show the truth, she said. I felt a little scared, but also strong. For the first time, I felt like I could fight back, not with anger, but with honesty. We started posting the pictures slowly, one by one, with short notes explaining the truth. Nothing mean, just facts. My friends saw it and shared carefully. By evening, more and more people could see the real story. They saw how my mom had treated me and they understood. My mom's posts didn't make me look bad anymore, they made her look unfair. I felt proud. I wasn't hiding anymore. I wasn't shrinking. I was standing tall, even in my wedding dress, surrounded by people who loved me. After a few hours, Thessaly called me. People are starting to see the truth, she said. Comments are positive now. Your friends and even strangers are writing messages saying they understand. They see you were brave. I smiled. It felt amazing. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had power, not the kind that scares people, but the kind that makes me feel free. That night, Oral and I sat on the couch, our hands intertwined. I can't be or love how strong you are, he said quietly. I had to be, I said. I spent so many years shrinking, pretending I didn't matter. But not anymore. I'm done hiding. We laughed softly, and for the first time in years, I felt completely at peace. My wedding had not only been a celebration of love, but also a celebration of me finally standing up for myself. The next few days were quiet but busy. I kept getting messages from people thanking me for sharing my story. Some even said it helped them feel brave to stand up to people who hurt them. I felt proud, not just for me, but because I could help others too. Meanwhile, my mom's posts started to slow down. People were now leaving comments about how unfair she had been to me all those years. Some relatives tried to call, but I didn't answer. I didn't have to. I had my own life now. I had friends, a loving husband, and a home filled with laughter. That was all that mattered. One evening, a week after the wedding, Oral and I walked in the garden near our house. The fairy lights still hung, twinkling softly in the night. Do you think they will ever understand? I asked. Oral squeezed my hand. Maybe, but it doesn't matter. You've already done what you needed to do. You chose your own peace. I smiled and felt it deep inside me. Peace wasn't just a word anymore. It was my life. I didn't need anyone else to say I belonged. I knew it already. Over the next few months, life went on. The social media storm faded, and my story stayed true in people's hearts. I spent time with friends, traveled a little, and worked on my marketing projects. But the most important thing was that I finally felt at home in my own life. No one could make me feel invisible again. Every time I thought about the past, I didn't feel sadness the same way. Instead, I felt strength. I had grown up in a family that didn't love me the way I needed, but I found love elsewhere. I had friends who celebrated me, neighbors who cared, and a husband who loved me quietly but completely. I even started volunteering at a local community center. I helped kids who felt invisible, teaching them that they were important, that their voices mattered. Sometimes I would show them a picture of myself as a little girl alone at a birthday party and explain, it's okay if people ignore you. You are still special, and you still belong. It felt amazing to give back, to help other people see the value in themselves. I had turned my pain into something good, something that could help others. Sometimes I would scroll through social media and see my mom's old posts still floating around. I didn't feel anger anymore. I just felt sorry for her because she never understood how to love me freely. That was her loss. And then one quiet evening, I looked at Oral and whispered, "Do you know what this feels like?" He shook his head. "Peace," I said. "Real peace." Oral smiled, pulled me close, and kissed the top of my head. "I'm glad you found it. I've been waiting for you to see how strong you are all along." And I finally did. I realized that life wasn't about making people who hurt you understand, or even forgive you. Life was about choosing yourself, protecting your heart, and surrounding yourself with love that didn't ask for explanations. That's exactly what I had done. And nothing could take it away from me. I had a wedding filled with love, friends who cared, and a husband who understood me. I had shared my story honestly with the world, and it had not only freed me but also helped others see that they could be brave too. For the first time in my life, I wasn't invisible. I wasn't ignored. I belonged, to myself, to Oral, and to the people who truly cared. And that was everything. I had saved all the papers my mom had left on my door. There were eviction notices, text messages, and even the police report she made, saying that I had done something bad, even though it wasn't true. She wanted to make herself look good, and make me look bad. I kept all of it. I saved everything carefully in a folder. Send them, Thessaly, my helper, told me over the phone. Thessaly was calm and smart. She said, "We'll show the truth. Don't get angry. Just show the proof. Be calm, tell the facts, and be professional." When I hung up the phone, Oral was sitting across from me. He was watching quietly. "You're really doing this," he said. "I'm done hiding," I told him. I felt a little scared, but I also felt strong. He nodded slowly. "Then do it right," he said. "Tell the truth. Not for them, but for you. For yourself." I took a deep breath. I could feel my hands shaking a little, but I didn't care. I opened my laptop and started typing a letter. It was long and calm. I explained everything. I wrote down the truth and attached all my papers, notes, and photos. I sent it to the same blogger my mom had used before. I told them I wasn't asking for pity. I only wanted fairness. I just wanted the truth to be known. Within a few hours, the blogger wrote back. "We looked at everything. Thank you for trusting us. The story will be updated." I felt a little Aurorlef, but I also felt nervous. I didn't know what would happen next. The next morning, the headline changed. It read, "Daughter speaks out. Family lies, love, and the price of silence." By noon, people started to understand the truth. They saw through my mom's act. All the sympathy she had gotten before fell apart because of her lies. For the first time, the silence around my name didn't feel bad. It felt like peace. By the next morning, my phone was quiet. No new insults, no pity messages, just quiet. And this quiet felt earned. But my mom wasn't done. Around 9 a.m., she called from a number I didn't know. I let it ring. I didn't pick it up. She left a voicemail. Her voice was shaky and angry. "You had no right, Yvain. You embarrassed this family. Your father is humiliated. You'll regret this." I listened to that line twice. Not because it hurt me, but because it didn't. That's when I made the call I had been saving for a long time. Not to Thessaly, not to the blogger, not to Oral. It was to my lawyer, Ms. Saraneth. She was the same woman who had helped me years ago when my mom kept coming to my old apartment and bothering me. "Hi, Amelia," I said. "It's Yvain. I need to update the old order. My family has gone too far this time." Within minutes, she checked all the proof. She saw my mom's bad posts online, the harassment, and the pictures she shared without my permission. "You've got a strong case," Amelia said. "This isn't just family drama. This is harassment and breaking your privacy." By noon, she wrote a legal letter. It was a warning. It said if my family kept spreading lies about me, we could go to court. I signed it electronically. She sent it to my mom, my dad, my brother, and Aunt Zinnia. An hour later, my phone buzzed. It was one text from Dad. "You didn't have to go this far," it said. I stared at it for a moment. Then I typed back. "You should have stopped her before I had to." After that, nothing. No calls, no messages, no posts. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that felt like freedom. That night, Oral held my hand across the dinner table. "You okay?" he asked. I smiled, small but steady. "Yeah," I said. "For the first time, I think I am okay." 2 weeks passed. The storm around my name completely died out. People who had whispered about me moved on to someone else's problems. Public pity fades fast. My mom never reached out again. Her silence didn't hurt like I thought it would. It felt fair. I heard from a cousin that my mom even deleted her social media after the blogger said she had lied. My dad stayed away too. No apologies, no defense, just staying away. For the first time, my life was calm. I focused on my new life with Oral. We went on a short honeymoon in Oregon. Our phones were off. Our hearts were calm. Some nights, though, I would wake up and remember old things. I would hear the sound of my mom calling my name in my mind. I remembered the way I always ran toward her, hoping this time it meant love. But I learned something important. Love doesn't beg. Love doesn't demand you perform. Love just stays. One evening, while unpacking boxes in our new apartment, I found an old photograph. It was buried in a drawer. It was a family picture from when I was 10. We were on a picnic blanket, smiling in the sunlight. For a moment, I wanted to keep it. But then I noticed something. My mom's arm wasn't around me. It was around my brother. I was just there. I slipped the photo into an envelope and mailed it to Amelia, my lawyer, with a note. Keep this for the case file. A reminder of where it started. Oral watched quietly. Closure, he asked. Not yet, I said softly. Almost. The next morning, Thessaly, the PR specialist, emailed me. Everything is clear now. Your name's clean. We can make one final public statement if you want. I thought for a long time. Then I typed back. No need. Some endings don't need an audience. But there was one thing left undone. One last conversation. It wasn't about defense or justice. It was about letting go. And I wanted it to happen where my silence had started. I drove back to Ohio on a gray Sunday. The sky was heavy with rain. The roads were familiar. They were lined with memories of every version of me that had tried to belong. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. I didn't need witnesses. I just needed quiet. The old house looked smaller than I remembered. The shutters were piorong, the porch was sagging. A for sale sign swayed in the wind. My mom was gone. They had left the town that once defined us. I stepped out of the car and walked to the front door. That door had once been slammed on me when I was 19, suitcase in hand, begging to talk. The same door where she had told me, "You're not welcome here anymore." I touched the handle and whispered, "Neither are you." In my hand was a single envelope. Inside was a copy of the legal notice Amelia had sent, and a short handwritten note. It read, "I release you not for you but for me. This story no longer owns me." I slid it through the mail slot. I turned and walked away. The rain started falling softly, steady, almost like it was washing everything clean. When I got back to the car, Oral texted, "You good?" I stared at it for a moment. Then I smiled. "Yeah, it's done." As I drove away, the town blurred behind me. The streetlights shone through the rain like little ghosts waving goodbye. My reflection in the car window didn't look like the girl who was never invited. It looked like someone who finally invited herself into her own life. Back home, I placed my wedding photo on the shelf. Not the edited one for social media, but the real one. Me and Oral were laughing in the middle of our dance. My veil was messy, our joy unpolished but real. Sometimes healing isn't loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It's the quiet knowing that you have already won. Not because they lost, but because you stopped trying to fight for a story that was never yours. That night, I locked my apartment door. And this time it stayed closed. Over the next few weeks, life felt different. The air seemed lighter, my steps easier. I no longer felt the weight of someone else's lies on my shoulders. I could breathe again. I didn't have to check my phone constantly, worried about what she had posted. I didn't have to hide who I was. Oral and I spent quiet mornings together, making coffee and watching the sunlight hit the floor. Some days we just sat together, holding hands, letting the silence speak. I didn't need to explain my feelings to anyone. I didn't need to prove anything. For the first time, I felt like me. I also started keeping small journals. I wrote about the good days and the hard days. I wrote about moments I laughed so hard my stomach hurt, or moments I cried quietly alone, letting it out without shame. I realized that writing helped me see how far I had come. I started going on little walks around our neighborhood. I noticed flowers blooming, the way the sun felt warm on my face, the laughter of children playing. Things I had once missed because I was always worried, always hiding. I even started volunteering at a small library near our apartment. I loved helping children find stories, watching their eyes light up when they discovered a new book. It reminded me of the power of stories, the ones that are true and the ones that are ours to tell. Oral and I talked about our future. Not the big, scary what-ifs, but the small, happy things. A garden on our balcony, a bookshelf full of favorite books, weekend pancake mornings. These were little joys that felt huge because they were ours. I also learned to forgive myself. Not for what my mom did, but for thinking for so long that I needed her approval. I didn't need it. I realized that love can't be forced. Love that demands proof isn't love at all. Months passed. Seasons changed. The quiet that had once felt heavy now felt light and free. I stopped worrying about old posts online. They no longer had power over me. I didn't have to explain myself to strangers or family members who never tried to understand me. I had my peace, my Oral, and my life. Sometimes, when the night was very still, I remembered old fears. The sound of my mother yelling, the times I ran to her hoping for love, the nights I cried alone. But now, those memories didn't hurt the way they used to. They were reminders of my strength, of how far I had come, and of the life I had finally taken for myself. I understood now that healing is a journey. It isn't a single moment. It's a series of small choices. Choosing yourself, choosing truth, choosing peace. Every day I made those choices. And every day I grew stronger. Even when I thought about the old house in Ohio, the one I had left with tears in my eyes, I no longer felt anger. I felt closure. The story that had once trapped me was now mine to tell, or not tell, as I wanted. I could carry it with me without it hurting me anymore. Life wasn't perfect. There were hard days, and there were days I missed parts of what I wished could have been. But now, I could face those days with courage. I had built a life that was mine. I had built a family that was mine. And I had built love that was real.